Once upon a time, in the small town of Três Corações, Brazil, a boy was born who would one day be called the king of football. That boy's name was Edson Arantes do Nascimento, but the world would come to know him simply as Pelé. Pelé grew up in extreme poverty, in a house where owning a real football was nothing more than a dream. As a child, he often played barefoot in the streets, kicking around socks stuffed with rags because he could not afford a ball. Despite these struggles, Pelé's love for the game was unshakable, and every day he trained, dreaming of greatness. His father, nicknamed Dondinho, was a former footballer whose career was cut short by injury, but he inspired Pelé to keep believing. At just 15 years old, Pelé joined Santos FC, a Brazilian club that would become the stage for his meteoric rise. By the age of 16, Pelé was already playing professionally, and his skills left crowds in absolute disbelief. He had incredible speed, magical dribbling, and a finishing ability that made defenders tremble whenever he touched the ball. In 1958, at just 17 years old, Pelé was called up to represent Brazil in the FIFA World Cup in Sweden. The world had never seen anything like him, a teenager who played with the confidence of a veteran. In the quarterfinal, he scored his first World Cup goal against Wales, becoming the youngest goal scorer in tournament history. Then, in the semi-final against France, Pelé stunned the world with a hat-trick, carrying Brazil to their first-ever final. In the 1958 World Cup final, Pelé scored two brilliant goals against Sweden, sealing Brazil's first World Cup victory. The boy who once played with rags had now conquered the world, and at just 17, he was a global superstar. But this was only the beginning of Pelé's legendary journey. Over the next decade, he became the heartbeat of Santos FC, leading them to 2 Copa Libertadores and multiple domestic titles. Crowds traveled from around the world just to watch Pelé play, and Santos became a global phenomenon because of him. Pelé's influence extended far beyond Brazil. He became a symbol of football itself, loved by fans across every continent. In 1962, Pelé returned to the World Cup in Chile, though injury cut his tournament short after just 2 matches. But Brazil, inspired by his presence, went on to win again, securing back-to-back World Cup titles. By now, Pelé was not just a footballer, he was a cultural icon, an ambassador of joy, and a hero to millions. In 1966, at the World Cup in England, Pelé faced brutal fouls and harsh tackling, and Brazil crashed out early. For a moment, the dream seemed broken, and Pelé even considered retiring from international football. But greatness always finds a way back, and in 1970, Pelé returned for one final masterpiece on the world stage. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico is often called the greatest tournament in football history, and Pelé was its brightest star. He scored 4 goals during the tournament, including a towering header in the final against Italy. But beyond scoring, he orchestrated the play, assisting breathtaking goals, including Carlos Alberto's legendary strike in the final. Brazil lifted the trophy, making Pelé the only player in history to win 3 FIFA World Cups. The world crowned him officially as the king of football, and his name was etched into history forever. Pelé's career at Santos saw him score more than 600 goals, though his total career tally reached over 2,200. Every goal carried magic, whether a long-range rocket, a delicate chip, or a dazzling dribble through defenders. In 1975, Pelé came out of retirement to join the New York Cosmos in the United States. His arrival transformed American soccer, attracting huge crowds and inspiring a new generation in a country where football was barely known. Even in his final years, Pelé remained a symbol of the beauty of the game, playing with elegance and passion. Beyond football, Pelé was a global ambassador, meeting presidents, inspiring children, and promoting peace through the sport he loved. He showed the world that football was more than just a game. It was hope, unity, and joy. Pelé's legacy is not only in the trophies, the records, or the goals, but in the hearts of billions who adored him. To this day, Children across the globe play barefoot in the streets, dreaming of becoming the next Pelé. He proved that greatness can come from the humblest beginnings, and that true kings are born from perseverance and love. The boy who once kicked rags in Brazil rose to become the king of football. Pelé's story is not just football history. It is humanity's story of struggle, triumph, and eternal legacy. And as long as football exists, the name Pelé will forever live on as the greatest of them.